What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Mike Dolce Show. Great episode today. Today, we're talking about Dr. David Sinclair, world-renowned longevity expert, and recent comments he made on the Lex Fridman show. So I'm going to share a clip of the interview with great thanks to Lex Fridman and Lex Clips. And the link to the entire episode is down below this video. Why am I discussing this? Well, because it's topical and it's informational, and I think it offers you the opportunity to have a think on the information in front of you and determine if it makes sense, and if so, how to test it and implement it possibly into your lifestyle. Will there be a benefit? Will there be a benefit for you at this age and stage of life? Well, all of this matters. Now, I appreciate you guys being here, by the way. Thank you. Hang out because we got some cool stuff to talk. We're going to keep this video short, but also feel free to leave any comments in the chat. And as soon as I get through the meat of this, which will take a few minutes, I'll answer your questions to the best of my ability to do so. So let's get right into the clip. Now, Dr. David Sinclair right here, I'm going to click play and I'm just going to let this play. I might stop it. We're only talking about, I don't know, maybe, 40, 50 seconds or so of actual talking, but I'll stop a few times and make comments and highlight very specific points Dr. Sinclair makes here.
How calorie restriction fasting works to extend lifespan. That was the first for any species. Something similar happens in our bodies when we're hungry or put our bodies under any other perceived adversity, such as running. Our bodies think, wow, we're getting chased by a saber-toothed cat or something. If we're really hot or cold, these probably also work to put our bodies in this defense to show that how calorie restriction.
Now, let me go back for a second because I want you to hear that little clip again, and then we'll discuss it together here.
The first to show that how calorie restriction fasting works to extend lifespan. That was the first for any species.
Dr. Sinclair is talking about how calorie restriction and fasting works to extend lifespan. So keep that in mind.
Something similar happens in our bodies when we're hungry or put our bodies under any other perceived adversity, such as running. Our bodies think, wow, we're getting chased by a saber-toothed cat or something. If we're really hot or cold, these probably also work to put our bodies in this defensive state, to activate these genes in the way that whales do and mice don't.
All right, so now let's chat on this for a minute. So basically, Dr. Sinclair is talking about extending life through fasting. That's the premise of the conversation. But as he goes on to speak, he basically says, well, fasting or exercising or exposure to extreme temperature, extreme heat, extreme cold. And I say this because, and Dr. Sinclair is going to go into talk more about his own lifestyle and how he eats and how he thinks other people should eat and what the data actually shows. And I'm bringing this because the concept of fasting is often widely conflated to the very extreme level. Same thing with carnivore or keto or all the other, fad diet, even the Dolce diet. People think, oh, that's only for MMA fighters. It's pushed so far to the extreme level. And Dr. Sinclair, known for longevity, but also now very well known for his rather extreme fasting protocols in the public conversation. But when you listen to Dr. Sinclair talk, you'll find in the context, that's not at all what he says works. It's not at all what he says to do. And it's not at all what he even and actually does. So let's listen just a little bit longer here to Dr. Sinclair, and then we'll tie this up.
And so hunger is the best way to do that. In fact, I don't think you have to feel hungry. You can get used to it. But if there was one thing I would recommend to anybody to slow down aging, would be to skip a meal or two a day. Now, it doesn't mean you don't have to live well. You can go out. I go to restaurants. I eat regular food. I try to be as healthy as possible. But I've gone from skipping breakfast most of my life now to skipping lunch as well. And I have my physique back that I had when I was 20. I feel 20 mentally. I'm much sharper. I don't feel tired anymore. I sleep well. So I'm a huge fan of the 1 meal a day thing. Where I'm not good at is going beyond 1 day. But if
Have you
do
ever
3
fasted
days,
longer than 24 hours?
I tried doing 2 days. I might have made it to the third and given up. I just find that I'm not very, I don't have a lot of willpower. I also hate exercise, so I'm not sure how long I'm going to live. But I've managed to do 1 meal a day. So if I can do that, seriously, anybody can do that. To your listeners and viewers, I would say, don't try to do it all at once. You can't go from snacking and eating 3 meals a day to what I do easily. Work your way up to it, but also compensate with drinking. If you like tea, if you like coffee, put some milk in it. That's fine. You can fill your stomach up with liquids. Diet sodas, I get criticized for drinking, but I'm going to continue to have those. But then, I power through the day. I definitely don't feel tired. I don't have a lag anymore. But also give it at least 2 weeks, because there's a habit as well. Having something in your mouth, chewing, feeling that fullness, you can break that habit, and within 2-3 weeks, you'll have done it.
Absolutely. So I'm not actually even that strict about it. He said diet soda.
Well, let's cut it there for a minute, because there certainly is more. And I wanted you to hear in full context what Dr. Sinclair is saying. And I've listened to many of his interviews and read much of his work for a decade plus or so, since at least resveratrol. He became one of the loudest proponents of that a decade or so or more ago, for sure. But now he's being held as the intermittent fasting, the fasting guru, like the fasting figurehead. But that's not necessarily true. In many of Sinclair's interviews, he discusses how he is, over the course of, he's in his 50s, over the 50 some odd years or so, he slowly began eating less. He used to just skip breakfast for many years, the majority by years of his life. And then he started skipping lunch. But he also says that he eats breakfast every single morning. And let me see exactly when this was. So this was summertime. This was June of 2001. And Doc Sinclair is saying here, and I'm not criticizing, that's not the point of this, but I did note this. He recently discussed how he eats, and everyone who listens to Sinclair knows, he eats Greek yogurt every morning. He eats Greek yogurt every morning so he can get the protein, but also so he can get the fat, which allow the very specific supplements he consumes, longevity affecting supplements. I believe metformin, is it a highly concentrated form of resveratrol that must be absorbed with fat from a meal. So he eats breakfast every morning when he gets up with his supplements, but also talks about eating a later day meal, midday meal, later day meal, supper meal. And sometimes it's relatively light and sometimes it's more robust. He talks about going to restaurants frequently, regularly, not daily, with friends. And he talks about having the occasional drink now and again. And it talks about snacking. So when we hear this, Dr. David Sinclair is not saying, I only eat 1 meal a day for the rest of my life and for all the days before this, and that's all every one of you should eat. What he says is, hey, in my 50s or so now, I hate working out. I don't like working out. I don't like exercise. I don't do a lot of exercise. Therefore, I have to adjust my total caloric intake down to match my lowered physical activity. Now, if you or he's not that much older than me, we're probably within a decade or so of each other. Well, I still have a very high athletic output, meaning that I have to bring my calories up in order to match my expenditure. Now, in the video with Lex, he says, well, there's a few ways to increase longevity. Dropping calories, yes. What the mechanism is of longevity, that's the course of decades worth of debate for sure. But there is a correlation, or at least there seems to be a correlation, but it's not extreme fasting and deprivation. As Sinclair also says, he can't fast for an entire day. He has to have at least 1 meal a day. He can't even do a 2-day fast. I've done a 3-day fast. I think I did a full 54-hour fast. I'm not a faster. He hasn't even done it that much, right? So that's what he says, because he hates it. So his diet, his lifestyle, which is great for him, is very well adapted to his personal preferences and his abilities. And what we say here is, you should exercise daily, consistently, in a manner that challenges you, but also excites you. You enjoy it. I don't care what it is. Whatever your exercise activity is, booty shaking on the boardwalk with roller skates on, do that for 45 minutes. I don't care. Swinging kettlebells, that's the same thing. We have clients who do it all. But point is, fasting itself, and there's a lot of good data out there that shows extreme fasting, 1 meal a day, 2 full day fasts, actually has a negative impact on long-term outcomes and short-term conditions that can arise as a result of that. But we would have to look into the individual issues and particulars. Again, not the point of this whole video here. The point of this whole video is, what I pull from this is Dr. David Sinclair is basically saying, hey, eat a little bit less than you normally do. And in time, as we age through, our childhood, we need more calories per kilogram of body weight than at any time in our lives because we're growing so rapidly. Me as a teenage boy, I ate probably double to triple what I eat right now as a grown man, nearly double my body frame, and I was shredded. Dick, thin skin, shredded, as much crap as I ate, shredded. Eating so many calories. But as time, and I got through my 20s and my metabolism slowed, and I got into my 30s and my athletic pursuit slowed. Now that I'm in my 40s, well, it makes sense as my total expenditure comes down, my body adapts. I'm no longer in these hyper growth phases. Well, it makes sense now to baseline total caloric intake, but also starting to bring it down. As we also know, which is important, the lightest of our species typically does live longer. What does that mean? Well, we look at morbidly overweight people, obese people, traditionally overweight people. Well, they don't live as long. Usually, I believe lifestyle-related factors wind up taking them out in the 50s to the 70s range. But I ask you, how many morbidly obese have you seen over 70 years old? Almost none. Oh, so the point of this, again, in the beginning of this video, I said I wanted to show you a clip of Dr. David Sinclair talking about fasting and other protocols associated with enhanced longevity. And I wanted to give you the conversation, have the conversation with you so you can think about it. So now Dr. Sinclair said exercise is also a catalyst for longevity, sending a signal to our body. And there's so many, too much for me to discuss here as a lay person once we get deeper into that field, but also exposure to hot and cold. So you hear right now, and I'm going to answer these questions in the chat. You hear right now, what's best? You should probably eat a little bit less than you normally do. And I would say make that less come from highly palatable, low net nutrient processed foods. The chips and the crisps and the cakes and the cookies and all the fun stuff. I love a chocolate chip cookie. But if I can, for this time period, eliminate that, push it out of my diet, well, my total calories come down, right? Now, if you're on an acute weight loss phase, well, maybe you shouldn't be eating right before bed. Maybe you shouldn't be eating, you shouldn't be eating into a caloric surplus for sure. But also, you don't need to be in a dramatic deficit. Many people on intermittent fasting protocol, 1 meal a day protocol, maybe they eat 1,000, 2,000 calories per day. But their body needs 2,800, 3,200 or more calories. Mine certainly does. That is not longevity extending, right? That's longevity reducing in our opinion. And there's a lot of good data to support that. So back to you guys. Point is, let me wrap this up. Point is, bring your calories down a little bit. Start exercising a little bit more, 30 minutes a day. I say to exercise every day, but not exercise that you hate. Going for a walk is exercising. Foam rolling, well, that's exercising done intentionally as, a part of an overall protocol. There's kettlebells and heavy bag workouts. That's exercising too. Dedicate at least, and this is a sliding scale from rank level novice all the way through to elite, from the criteria perspective. But if you're not doing 30 minutes a day, a minimum of 3 days a week, you're not even in the game. You should be doing 30 minutes a day, 7 days a week. And then you should really be pushing. Maybe you have your couple 30-minute days, but you should have a 45-minute day and maybe even a 90-minute day of varied intensity, athletic activity that challenges you, but also you enjoy. It's very, mind enhancing. And the exposure to hot cold, which I do. Like yesterday, I was at the Banya, 210 degrees for 20 minutes, and then 6 minutes in the 45-degree cold plunge. I do 3 rotations and I'm out of there. Less than 90 minutes, I'm in and out of my car. Sometimes I chat with a buddy or whomever. Sometimes I sit in the corner and I get my hot cold exposure. A lot of great data on that. And that's what Sinclair's saying. And then he also layers quite a bit. I believe he's very heavy, possibly dangerously heavy into the nutraceuticals, the new supplements, to the supplement ingestion. And that's a lot. I think that's a little experimental, but I don't know. Maybe I need to know more on that. So, all right, let me jump back to you guys. What do you guys think about this? Chit chat. F.U. Dolce, I'm here early. Can't wait to hear these truth bombs and pearls of wisdom. Oh, I appreciate that. Isaac, hey, nearly first one here. Welcome, Isaac. Good to see you. Let me bop this screen out. Boom. I like that badge. I like that badge. Subscriber badge, Isaac. Looking good, man. That's a good look. Thank you guys for being here, for staying here. Also, I appreciate that, everyone. Hopefully that was helpful. A lot of these videos now, or for the next bit of while, who knows? I want to give more context. I just want to come, you and I just sitting here, drinking a cup of coffee, talking. Yo, what do you think about this intermittent fasting? You hear what Fridman just said on our Sinclair just said on Fridman's podcast? What do you think about that? Well, he fucking talks about eating breakfast all the time. Greek yogurt every single morning with his supplement stack. He always talks about having that late day, very plant-based dinner. All right, so he's eating at least twice a day, and he's eating it like, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, and again at like, 2, 4, 6 o'clock in the evening? Well, that's kind of not fasting as it's being sold. It's not, he's fasting for sure. He is eating very low calories for sure. Like he is doing that, but he's not doing that in the way I believe that it's heard or the way that's repeated back to me, because people ask me all the time, hey, man, I should be intermittent fasting, right? I just started intermittent fasting. My girl, my trainer, my coach says I should be intermittent fasting. Why? Why do you think that would be a good solution for you? Like autophagy, autophagy. It's just, really good for you. My buddy lost a bunch of weight really fast. You guys have had that conversation. Shit, I have that conversation 20 times a day. I have it written to me. I have it voicemail to me. I have it, tweeted. It might even be in this chat stream right now. So that's why I think it's important to talk about this. What is real is not actually what's heard. And it's not intentional. It's just people only hear like this extreme version. Like I was saying, even about us. The Dolce, that's only for fighters. It's not like it works for them, but it works for everybody. Daryl, boom, Daryl's all badged up. Bam, got that subscriber badge, man. I appreciate that. You're in the cool kid club. We can't really hear the video, Mike. Yeah, that's why I had the link below. I have to get that figured out with our software. I might need one of you guys gave me a piece of advice and a piece of hardware, and I lost it. So if you know what I'm talking about, dude, hit me back. Mike, haven't seen you in a while. Araj, what's up, my man? Great to see you. I hope all is well. Very true. Thank you. Henrik, he's got a new one on the Huberman podcast. Forget about his lifestyle if you want to be very active physically. And that's what he says. I hate working out. I really hate doing anything. I just want to kind of sit there and, drink fucking diet soda or whatever it is. Like that's very controversial for sure. Right? Well, like, why is he destroying his microbiome? If not, if not all the other negative associations with diet soda, why is he having this negative disruption on his microbiome when most science now believes health or disease manifests in the gut? That's a thought. It's worthy of an intellectual conversation, I would say. It's very contrary to the goal of life extension. And then does this have a negative impact on the other things he's doing? possible. John Trigg, what's up, my man? Great to see you, bro. Hope all is well. Daryl, I was really interested because I had really good results from fasting, losing weight, but I could not get shredded or put on muscle. You can't do anything. It's really hard. If you're fasting, what is fasting? Fasting is a very structured form of extreme calorie deprivation. Is there a place for it? Sure, there's a place for it. If you say, hey, man, I'm gonna fast for a day. All right, cool. If you say, hey, man, I'm gonna start fasting every day. Well, now we're gonna have some issues. You're gonna have some issues. I'm gonna be fine because I'm not. I'm gonna be eating 4 to 6 times per day, pretty much every single day. And that doesn't mean 4 to 6 plates of bodybuilder food and I'm bodybuilding my way. No, if I eat an apple, guess what? I just ate, right? If I have a half a papaya and chia water, well, I just ate, right? It doesn't have to be chicken breast and rice and asparagus, though that is delicious. I'm one of those people that I love, like chicken, rice, asparagus. I'll put like a little bit of garlic, maybe on the rice, bake the chicken, little paprika, very simple. I like the asparagus, baked and what's it called? Sorry. Sea salt, little sea salt on there, baked on the asparagus, with just a little bit of an oil rub. It's fucking amazing. I'll eat that. I almost do eat that every day. Michael, Brian, what's up? I've watched some videos talking about the concept of G-Flux. What is that? Is it a new YouTube gimmick? Is that for like jaw training? My super G-Flux jaw capacitor got me laid, by 14 girls in one day. Would you agree this is the ideal place for everyone? Eat more, move more, burn more? Eat more of the right food would be the concept. Not just eat more. Most people eat more. The macro counters, they're eating Oreo cookies. Like, man, I just went for a 12-mile bike ride. Like, I can eat a sleeve of Oreos right now. I got to get them carbs back in. Jim Stepani, Dr. Jim Stepani talks about this. I love Jim. Great guy. Disagree completely on a lot of the food selections, the nutrient, or lack thereof nutrient sources. Guys like John Kiefer, very smart guy. I don't know if he has, I'm sure he has deeper levels of academic pedigree, but his brain is really working right. But the outcome, carb backloading, for those who don't know John Kiefer, you're not in the game very long, or, back in the Dan Duchaine days and Will Brink, like, kind of the very early, of course, Jerry Branham, those, pushed over on high level performance long before internet and everything else. These guys were already pushing those high levels, and many others. But it's the high net nutrients, right? So eat more high net nutrient, healthful whole foods. Yes, not just eat more calories. No. And many people, you guys probably, you fall more into that line than the high quality first. Hey, Mike, is training included in the Dolce Diet personalized program for people coming back after injuries? Well, Jacob, we have 2 options for you. Option number 1 is to go to the DolceDiet.com, and I can briefly show you that. I won't take too long. Briefly go to the DolceDiet.com. You can join our 4-week or 12-week diet and exercise program. It has everything you need, every meal, every ingredient, every recipe, grocery lists, all planned specifically for you. Full workouts, daily calendar. You know exactly what you're supposed to do, written down, sets and reps and rest periods and percentage of RM, with video tutorials of every exercise. Data entry of starting weight, updated weight, measurements, if you care to do that, with predictive avatars of how you actually look in 360 degrees, which is a great tool to see where you are and move forward. So much stuff here. You can also go to our online coaching program and work with me one-on-one every single day. This is the online coaching tab at thedolcediet.com. And in near real time, you and I can be speaking and talking and sending messages and videos and recipes and workouts and critiquing form and troubleshooting in very real time, near real time, we have to call it. So that's all at thedolcediet.com. Sorry to take so long on that, guys, but I wanted to answer. I get this question quite a bit, Jacob. So go there, check it out. And I'm always here for free every single day answering questions. I'll bring you that first part of the video, and then I try and answer as many questions as I can. Henrik, he is not talking about intermittent fasting. He's just on very low calories. Henrik, exactly. Exactly. That is the crux of the situation. Thank you, sir. David, back on the program after a broken back. Yikes. Thanks again for the motivation to change. You got this, David. We're in your corner, my man. Let's crush it. Let's crush it, baby. Time to move. Time to move, David. Time to crush goals, my man. Broken back. Cool. Ouch. You're done. You're ready. Now what are we going to do? What are we going to do now? We're going to crush goals. Michael, I think there's not enough people that talk about the time after long fast, the first meal someone eats after a fast. I've heard so many stories of how bad binge eating can get afterwards. I had the opposite. Reaction when I did that 50-hour fast, that 3-day plus fast. Many of you followed along here because I was speaking about it quite a bit. You can go and look. I mean, type in fasting. I think I did a whole series on it. After I broke the fast, I didn't binge. I had a hard time eating again. I had developed, in my opinion, a disordered relationship with food, in that the fasting had given me this warped perception that I should not be eating and that I should be eating less for whatever reason. My own personal chemical chaos possibly, pushed me into that type of reaction where someone else might binge. But it is, to your point, it is definitely important to discuss that, which is why I did the video. I'm going to go through it. I'm going to try it so you don't have to. And then when I got done, it was like, holy shit, like, I don't want to eat. I was like, yeah, I'm allowed to eat now. I should eat now. I'm supposed to eat now. The next step in this scientific nutrition plan is for me to eat now. But maybe if I, wait a little longer. That was like, just wait a little longer. Just push it back. Just push it back. So that was odd to come out of. GB, are you coming in late? Who are you talking about? That was on Huberman. Not on Huberman. It was on Lex Fridman. Lex Fridman clips. You can actually click the link below this video to the entire clip. But go back and listen to it and watch it again. Also, yeah, that's true. What Sinclair said on Huberman. I think that's where he was talking about the Greek yogurt. Can't wait for this weekend. Mastering the weight cut. That's right. Mastering the weight cut is this weekend. If anyone is interested, you should hop on over to DolceDietShop.com and register for the Mastering the Weight Cut weekend. That will be this Saturday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., a 3-hour all-intense weight cutting seminar, teaching you everything you need to know to train in the off season, composition your body for the ideal weight for your weight class, how to fuel yourself during training camps, how to approach the weight cut, the pre-weight cut, the cut week itself, and then the final phase of the acute weight cutting, plus pre-hydration, rehydration, and same-day competition day eating programs, all at DolceDietShop.com. And I will give you guys, look at all this weight cutting. This is weight cutting history. Just go to DolceDietShop.com right now just to see all these amazing photos. Every time I go through, it's just like, man, legendary, the GOAT right there. Are you kidding me? I'll actually put this in here. But what I wanted to say is, I'm going to give you a 25% discount if you're interested. Master 25, save 25%. Master 25, save 25%. I'll put it in the chat. If anybody's interested, definitely check it out. It's going to be an awesome, awesome weekend. I'm super excited for it. We're going to have a lot of freaking fun, a lot of good content, a lot of new content. My goal is I'm trying to open source all of our weight cutting information. I could never do justice here on this channel. This 3 hour, it's 3 hours and we're just cracking open the surface, but pulling you down that rabbit hole with us. Nikki, fight week, 7 pounds over Saturday, same day weigh-ins, and we are not fasting over here. Hell yeah, Nikki, crushing it. Clearly following the Dolce Diet's weight cutting protocols. Good for you. What I meant by eat more, burn more is based off a lot of your weight cuts with MMA fighters. Michael, I get it. Thank you. Yes, makes sense. I find it so cool how guys like Calvin Chael and others can still eat their meals and lose weight. Exactly. The power of science and experience, the power of real nourishing food. It's funny. All right, guys and gals, I appreciate you all. Thank you all very much for being here. What do you think? Leave comments below this video. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, or at least consider it, I would appreciate it. I would consider it a personal favor. Thank you, though. Give a thumbs up with the video if you like the content. Leave comments below if you want me to answer any of your questions live on air. And until next time, boom.